Good morning, Cheryl. Yeah, so we're in a rent stabilized apartment. What that means is the landlord can only increase rent by a certain margin. This is a 4-bedroom. It rents for $1,000. For those that don't live in New York, to put that in perspective, average 4-bedroom rent in New York City, according to RentHop, is closer to $9,000. The tenants have now left, leaving behind about $5,000 in trash, and renovations would cost at least $150K. The landlord says it's not worth it. They're going to let this unit sit empty, meaning one less apartment on the market, because they can't make money off of it. And meanwhile, Zohran Mamdani, what he wants to do for the affordability crisis is to freeze rent for apartments like this one. That would mean that 40% of the apartments in New York City, roughly, could not have their rent increased. And as it currently stands, 20% of those apartments are considered are in bad financial standing. This would make that problem worse. That is why the former New York Democratic Assembly member who served alongside Mamdani says if his plan were to go through, it would be the nail in the coffin for this portion of the real estate market. Burgos is arguing that this is a bit of Mamdani shooting himself in the foot, but the mayoral frontrunner is touching on something important. There is an affordability crisis in the Big Apple. 25% of renters pay more than 50% of their income to rent. The understanding is you should not pay more than 30% of your income towards rent, and it's very hard to own a piece of the Big Apple. Out of all the people who live here, including myself, 2/3 of them are renters. So there's a big problem. Mamdani has a solution, but those in the know say it would only make the problem worse. Cheryl?
Madison Allworth. Madison, thank you so much for that live report. And you know what, Greg? Look, the numbers don't add up. And that is exactly what Madison just laid out for us. The numbers that he is putting out there do not add up. And these landlords, a lot of them, to be clear here, are small business owners, family-owned rental units in many parts of the city, are saying just what Madison reported. We're going to let it sit empty. We may go insolvent, is what they're saying.
Of course, and we need to pay attention to this right now. I mean, I don't think there is a question that, rent levels are high. It's not just here in New York. You go down to Miami, you have the same dynamic. But ultimately, we need to let market conditions play out. And that's capitalism. That's why people invest their capital. They buy units and rent them out. We do have a bit of an affordability issue, not just with rents, but housing in general across the board. But we need to let this play out over time.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's why this election is so critical coming up in November for the city. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.